Sometimes the simple things can be difficult when we're speaking English. And in this lesson today, we're going to be talking about the different ways of telling people that you don't really understand what they're saying, or that maybe they're not being very clear. We want to be able to do this in a polite way without sounding rude. And that's what the lesson today is all about. Let's do it. Hello everybody, good to see you. It's me, Elliott from ETJ English. Hope you're all doing well. Now, as I said, it can be difficult sometimes to tell people that we don't understand what they're saying. Sometimes just saying, I don't understand, can seem a little bit blunt, maybe sometimes a bit rude, and we want to be able to say it in the best way possible. So I'm just going to give you a variety of things that you can say, both formal and informal. And of course, I am a pronunciation teacher, so I'll be throwing in a few pronunciation aspects to the lesson also. And remember, if you do want to learn pronunciation with me, learn the British accent and how to reduce your accent, then you can join my course. The link's in the description below, etjenglish.com. Let me first start off by giving you the most common way of saying that we don't understand something, or that maybe something wasn't clear enough and we need them to repeat themselves. It's actually just one word, but it's how we use the intonation that makes the word special. So there are two ways that I could say this word and it would mean two different things. I could say sorry, or I could say sorry. Now you tell me, number one or number two, what do you think sounds more like we're unsure? Number one, sorry, or number two, sorry? Hopefully you were thinking number two. That is actually a questioning tone that we're using. We're doing a down-up tone. Sorry, sorry. Practice with me. Go down with your voice and then raise the tone back up. Sorry, sorry. Now what this does is it raises uncertainty in your tone. It makes you sound like you're not very sure about something. Now if you say sorry, now this shows more emotion, more feeling, so using an up-down tone, sorry, wouldn't work. If we're trying to show that we're questioning or we're unsure or confused about something, we will usually do what we call a down-up tone on the important word. So in this situation, sorry, sorry, down-up tone. Now you've learnt possibly the most native way of telling someone that we don't understand. All we have to do is say the word sorry and do a down-up tone. Sorted. Now you can combine this with all of the phrases I tell you today. So any of the phrases I teach you today, you can begin with the word sorry, and then say something else. And some of these things I'm going to say now are things you could say with the word sorry. Next, I want to talk about these two words, get it. Now to get it, to get something, means that you understand. Let's say you're explaining something to someone, you could say, so do you get it? And that means, do you understand? Have you followed me throughout what I've been saying? Do you understand? Okay, so if you don't understand, you could say, I don't get it. I don't get it. Now, if we're saying we don't get it, that simply means I don't understand. You could then follow with, for example, could you repeat that please? So here's a full sentence. Sorry, I don't get it. Could you repeat that please? Okay, so that's making it a bit more formal and for us to instruct our listener that we need them to kind of repeat again so that we can take in all of the information. So in terms of pronunciation here, listen to which T's I pronounce, the letter T. So, sorry, I don't get it. Now I'm not pronouncing the T at the end of don't. I'm not saying I don't get it, okay, because that's just a bit too much for me. At the end of don't, I'm dropping the T. Now this is very, very common in British English. I recommend that sometimes you do remove the T from the end of words like don't, at. I'm not saying you have to, but it's quite difficult to pronounce all of the T's all of the time, and that's why not many British people actually do that. So we would say, I don't get it. The reason why I'm pronouncing the T in get is because it finishes with a T, which is a consonant, and the next word, it, begins with a vowel. We can use the T to help us get to the next word. Okay, so get it, okay? Now, the next one I'm going to give you is slightly informal. You would use this with friends. You probably wouldn't say this to your boss if they were trying to explain something to you, just because it can seem a little bit rude. It's another kind of native slang style expression, and what it is, what are you on about? What are you on about? What are you on about? To be on about something means to be talking about something. So for example, I could say, I was talking to my dad the other day and he was on about his holiday he recently had with my mum in Spain. Okay, so that would mean he was talking to me about this. So if you're going on about something, then that means you're talking about something. So if I said to someone, what are you on about? That basically means, what are you talking about? We would usually, again, say this in a kind of a more informal situation, and it's generally to show that we just don't have any clue what they are talking about. It just doesn't make sense. I want to mention the word are here, because too many of my students who join my course aren't using what we call function words. Now, the word are isn't being pronounced in its true form. I'm not saying, what are you on about? I'm saying, what are you on about? Water. Sounds a bit like water, right? But don't confuse it, because one is what and one is war. So we're pronouncing R as If I said it really slowly, water. But we need to say water. What are you on about? Now, the reason why is because the word are is not important in this sentence. And this happens a lot in sentences in English. We will relax words which are not important. And this is one situation. So what are you on about? We're also joining you and on with a W. You won about. Now, the reason why here is slightly different to the last example. This example is because we have a word ending with a vowel and the next word begins with a vowel. So we're going to use a W sound to join them. You won. W. You won. You won about. So try it with me now. What are you on about? What are you on about? So on, essentially in this situation, just means talking. Remember, it's informal. Now, if you want to go with a more formal option, it's pretty simple. You've probably used this before, but if you haven't, you definitely need to use this in more formal situations. You could say, could you repeat that, please? I'm not saying, can you repeat that, please? Which also is absolutely fine. But a lot of the time in British English, we will replace the word can with could. The reason why is because it makes it sound even more formal and makes it sound less like a demand. So, could you repeat that, please? Now, you can say, can you repeat that, please, if you want. It's entirely up to you. So, sorry, could you repeat that, please? And a few extras. Another formal one. I don't quite follow. Meaning, I'm not really following what you're saying. I'm not able to keep up with you. You might follow this one with, would you mind slowing down? Or would you mind repeating that? Would you mind is just a polite way of saying could you again. So, sorry, I don't quite follow. Would you mind repeating that again, please? Another one, this one's a little bit informal, but it's not too informal. It's kind of in the middle ground, which is, what was that? So this is more when we didn't hear what the person was saying. Maybe we didn't quite catch what they were saying because they weren't speaking clearly or it wasn't very clear. Again, you could say sorry, but also you could say, sorry, what was that? What was that? And that's just simply saying, what did you say? And finally, if you want to use more of an interjection style, you could just say, eh? Eh? Again, we're using this down-up tone because it's the tone which shows confusion or misunderstanding. Eh? Eh? So that's basically just means what? It's a good one and it's used by a lot of people. My dad uses it all of the time, but again, this is informal, okay? Eh? Or even, huh? So you can vary with different interjections and different sounds, but that's generally how it works. I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you repeat? Again, that's another kind of formal one. There are so many different ways, but these are probably the ones I hear the most and that I use the most. Remember, some are formal and some are informal, so don't get them mixed up. Make sure you have them written down, practice them, and practice the pronunciation. Now, if you want to pronounce all of the vowels, the consonants, connected speech, stress, intonation correctly in a British style, then why not become my student? You can join my course by clicking the link in the description below, and we can start working together on your accent. For the rest of you, thank you very much for watching this lesson. Please don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, all of that rubbish, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Cheers, guys. Bye.